A village in the mountains has been constantly attacked by an S-rank Fenrir, so they spent all their savings hiring an SS rank party to defeat it. The Flaming Dragon Fang party is filled with some of the strongest adventurers, each with their unique skills, except for Kurt. Kurt's main talent: doing chores. He's hiding behind a wall to avoid getting hurt when the Fenrir arrives and attacks him first. After being sent flying, the rest of the party gears up for battle. Guv orders Bandana to restrain the beast, and she ties it up, but the Fenrir breaks her back against a wall. But with Marfus around, she's healed in seconds and back on her feet. Using a tree as an anchor, she gives Guv a chance to aim for the Fenrir's head, and he sets it ablaze with his magic sword. The villagers are so thrilled that they prepare a feast, even though they're nearly broke. But Guv, he hates the peasant food and demands CT cook something better for him. Bandana asks for something special, since it's Kurt's last day cooking for them. Kurt, clueless, asks Guv why he's being fired. Guv explains that Kurt is useless in combat and they can only have 4 members, so they need someone stronger, like a mage. Kurt begs to stay, but Guv kicks him in the stomach and says that's final. The next day, Kurt leaves the village with no money and no direction. He ends up in the city of Sa, desperate and barely holding on to his last pennies. He finds a temp agency and gets an interview. His work history? He was part of the Flaming Dragon Fang but only did chores. Still, the party's name looks good on his resume. Kurt's aptitude test reveals that his combat skills are all rated G rank, meaning he's basically useless in a fight. But Kel, the receptionist, suggests he might have a hidden talent, like alchemy or blacksmithing, though the person who evaluates those skills is on vacation. Kurt needs work now, so Kel suggests he try lifting a sandbag. When he does, she sees he has the strength for construction work, and she helps him get a job at the city wall repair site. The Margrave is skeptical about Kurt, but he gives him a chance. Kurt gets to work mixing cement, and by the time the Margrave returns, Kurt has already finished a huge section of the wall. The Margrave is shocked but impressed. He tells Kurt he's done enough for the day and gives him a pouch of money. Kurt can't believe it, it's more than he ever made with the hero party. Over the next few days, Kurt works hard. But just when he thinks things are going great, the Margrave fires him, saying he's done enough. So much for his new job. Kurt asks why, and the Margrave explains that the wall repairs were meant to provide jobs for those in poverty. However, Kurt is too efficient, and if he keeps working, there will be no work left for anyone else. The Margrave isn't upset with Kurt, but based on his abilities, which seem to be at least double his rank, he would be better suited for work in the royal capital. He gives Kurt a lump sum as compensation for being let go and walks away. Kurt, misunderstanding the situation, thinks the Margrave fired him because he was a terrible worker. He heads back to the temp agency to tell Kel about being fired and that it will still take a few days before his trade attributes are appraised. Just then, they hear a commotion at the front desk, where a girl is trying to post a recruitment ad. The receptionist tells her no one would agree to work under the terrible conditions she's offering. Despite this, the girl insists, causing a disturbance. Kel steps in to investigate and learns that the girl wants to hire a miner to excavate an unexplored mountain but refuses to offer upfront payment, only promising payment if the excavation succeeds. Kel explains that no one would agree to these terms and suggests the girl find investors, but she can't because she has to pay taxes by the end of the week or risk losing the mine. Kurt overhears and, seeing an opportunity, volunteers, explaining that he has experience from helping with mining back in his village. Kel asks if he's sure about accepting, considering the risk of not getting paid. But before he can answer, the girl dismisses him, saying she initially hoped to hire a dwarf. However, since she can't afford the upfront payment for one, she reluctantly agrees to hire Kurt. As Kurt and the girl head out, Kel feels bad for him, thinking the job isn't worth his time. Her coworker interrupts to tell her that a bank transfer has arrived the remaining payment the Margrave promised for Kurt's work. Expecting around 50 silver, Kel is stunned when she sees it's actually 200 gold. She's so shocked by the amount that she trips over some sandbags, which her coworker explains are used to measure mana reserves. They usually don't react with regular people, but Kurt had struggled with them a few days ago, which makes Kel wonder if he's really just an ordinary kid. Meanwhile, Kurt and the girl, Alicia, head to her campsite. Kurt is surprised to see only one tent, and Alicia suggests they share it. Kurt, embarrassed, says he couldn't sleep next to her. Alicia gets upset, thinking Kurt is just flattering her, but when Kurt insists he genuinely thinks she's cute, she realizes he's sincere. She gives him a boiled potato for dinner, and Kurt, grateful since it's been a long time since anyone cooked for him, appreciates both the meal and her company. The next morning, Alicia wakes up to find Kurt sleeping under a tree. She feels bad about making him sleep outside, but then she notices that her jacket has been repaired. Kurt admits he fixed it, impressing her with his sewing skills. She wonders if he'll be good at mining, but it's too late to find someone else, so they get to work. Kurt asks Alicia if she has a plan for where to mine, but she was planning to dig randomly. Kurt tells her she'll never find anything that way and takes her to a section of the mountain, where he quickly locates a rock full of gemstones. Alicia is amazed that he found them so easily. In no time, Kurt identifies every gemstone in the area. She realizes that selling them could pay off her debt, but Kurt tells her she can't sell them as they are. Instead, he turns them into magic crystals, despite Alicia's concern that only a few mages in the kingdom can do so. Kurt, however, does it instantly, leaving her speechless. Once Kurt finishes, he allows Alicia to sell the crystals. She heads to the city's customs agency, where the agent questions her about where she got them. To avoid further questions, she flashes her royal family emblem, bluffing since she no longer works for them. The agent lets her pass, and she travels to the capital. There, she visits an old friend, Mimiko, who's shocked at the quality of the crystals, realizing they contain 10 times the usual amount of mana. Mimiko offers Alicia 500 gold for them. Before she leaves, Mimiko asks Alicia to promise not to sell such powerful crystals anywhere else and to give her the name of the creator. Alicia refuses to share Kurt's name without his permission. Mimiko, a court mage, insists but ultimately can't get Alicia to comply. She asks Alicia to make sure Kurt doesn't go to another nation and offers him a title of count and access to the Royal Research Lab if he agrees to work for the royal family. Alicia returns to the mountain, only to find that Kurt has built an entire house in the time she was gone. That's the end of episode 1. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next part.